How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Sector 6, and it's finally happened. We finally got the Final Fantasy XVI Demo, and it's pretty good, you know? It is pretty good. It's been a long wait, but we're finally there. We are so close to the release of the game. We've had the demo now. We've all managed to kind of have a look at it. And if you're one of the people that haven't managed to have a look at it yet, I'm just going to break it down, go over my thoughts on it. You can also catch the VOD of my playthrough over on Twitch if you want to check that out. I'll put the link in the description, so if you want to watch the full demo, you can do that. We did all of the story demo, the initial first section of the story, and we also did most of the special battle DLC. I just got beat up by Garuda at the end. And it was nearly 3 AM at that point, so yeah, I had to stop and go to bed. But next time, we'll get her. Oh, we will get her. Make sure you're hitting that like button and telling YouTube this is a good video and subscribing to the channel for future content, but let's get on with it. So the first thing is the visuals. I think we'll start talking about the visuals. Now, there are two different modes that you can select. You've got the performance mode and you've got the graphics mode, like the more high fidelity version. I went with performance mode because graphics, while I enjoy them, they're not a major thing to me. I would much rather have smooth performance, and I didn't have any issues with it, to be fair. The performance on my side of things was perfectly good. I didn't notice any sections of the demo where the graphics looked particularly bad. Granted, I was streaming it when I played it, so maybe when I play through it again I might notice something. But no, perfectly good experience for me. I have noticed that some people are having some issues on performance mode. Apparently there's frame drops and stuff like that on performance mode, so watch out for that. Personally, I didn't experience it, or I didn't notice any of it. But yeah, the visuals are astonishingly good. Like, the models, the character models are so detailed, the faces are just extremely expressive, and these are all things that we knew from the trailers that we've seen, and the gameplay footage that we've already seen. Like, we knew this was going to be the case, but it's good to just see it on a big TV rather than via a YouTube stream having been compressed and stuff like that. It's just good to actually get to see it on the screen, and it was beautiful. The environment, the world in general, yeah, they've put a lot of effort into the visuals of this game, and it pays off in a big way. Now, the music and the sound topped it as we expected. Fans of Final Fantasy XIV will know what Soken's all about, and fans of Final Fantasy in general will know the standards that are there for music in a Final Fantasy game. That was set by Uematsu, and yeah, from what we've heard so far, this easily matches those standards. Like, it is so good. It adds a lot of energy to scenes when energy is needed to be added. It adds a lot of weight to scenes, and I'm not just talking about the music, like just the sound in general in the game. I won't be too spoilery in this. I'm not going to spoil any scenes that are in the demo for those of you that may want to play it in the future still. I'm just going to talk about my experience. I might do a separate video where we talk about the storyline stuff. But yeah, the sound definitely adds weight to certain scenes. If you've played the demo or watched the demo, you know what I'm on about. Which then brings us to the story, and everything kind of pans out like I would have expected from the trailers for the most part. There are a couple of additional conversations in there and like the back end of scenes that we didn't necessarily see. And it's good to see all the gaps filled in from the information that we've already had. It takes you up to a point pretty much at the end of the Night of Flames, which is the big event in Rosaria where we see Phoenix versus Ifrit. Everything goes wrong. We've seen that in the trailers, but it's good to get all the rest of the pieces put in place. And yeah, things pan out pretty much how we would have expected. And we will go over the details in another video. One thing I will say, it's quite cutscene heavy, this demo, which is to be expected because it's not X amount of hours into the game. It's the start of the game. There's a lot of setup, there's a lot of exposition and things like that that need to be done. So it's to be expected that we're going to have a pretty cutscene heavy demo at this point. But the action that you do get is probably about 30-40% of the demo, I'd say. Probably about 30-40% of the demo, you're in control, you're running around, you're doing things, you're in combat. So yeah, it's probably about a 60-40 split in favour of cutscenes, but then you've got the special battle demo, which is where you will fight against Garuda. There's a lot more combat in that. You do also have access to a selection of abilities that you wouldn't necessarily have at this point in the game. So in the game, I believe that you would probably only have Phoenix's abilities still at this point in the game, but they've given us access to Garuda's and Titan's dominant abilities as well. So you get to mess around with some stuff, you get to figure things out, you get to see, kind of work out a style for you. It's very fun, and let's get into it. Let's talk about the combat. The combat is really good. Like, I was a little bit concerned when I looked at the combat. Some of the enemies looked a little bit spongy, and you do really have to weigh in on some of these enemies. You know, you really do have to tear them down, but they will go down eventually, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be from looking at the trailers. Maybe that'll change later on in the game, and you'll get enemies that get a lot spongier. We shall see. We shall see. But the combat itself is fun, it's responsive, it's quick, it's just real fun. Chaining up attacks once you've staggered an enemy, like hitting them with multiple icon abilities one after another while they're staggered. It just feels good. It really does just feel good. The controls pretty easy to get to grips with. It shouldn't take too long, probably a few encounters and you'll be like, okay, cool, I've got this. And the only thing that really tripped me up difficulty-wise was the fact that I just didn't manage my potions appropriately. I went into the final fight against Garuda with like 1 potion, I think 2 potions. And yeah, she did a fair bit of damage to me. I reckon I'll get her next time. But yeah, the difficulty isn't particularly high, but it's not particularly easy either. It was, you know, it was pretty middle of the road as far as the difficulty goes. I didn't use any of the accessories, and I would definitely recommend to people to try it out without the accessories. You will get to grips with it, trust me, you will get to grips with it. But if you need to use the accessories, they are there to make things a little bit easier for you, and you'll be able to enjoy the story without being held up by a combat encounter that you can't get through. The accessories will help you out and get you through that. There was a brief moment, I think when you start the special battle demo, it equips a couple of the accessories to you automatically. So I did actually do 1 fight in the special battle demo with the accessories on. It was a bit weird. I'd already kind of got used to the combat in the prologue, like the, you know, the actual demo. So yeah, see how you feel about them. Check them out, give them a go. As far as problems with the combat, the only one that I really had wasn't particularly to do with the combat, but it was just to do with the particle effects constantly going off in the combat. Sometimes it can get a little bit difficult to see what's going on depending on how many enemies you've got on you, what attacks you're using, what kind of AoE attacks the enemies are using. It can get a bit muddy, but I think that's something that with time you'd get used to. I'm not sure if there's any settings where you can like decrease the particle effects or anything like that, but that was literally the only thing that I had an issue with. It just a couple of times it got a bit difficult to see things. It was about 1:30, 2 AM for me at that point, so maybe I just had tired eyes. Maybe that's it. We'll see. But yeah, in general, my conclusion of this demo is that my hype has intensified a fair bit. The one thing I will say, I'm not getting that Final Fantasy feeling yet. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Game is good. Game is real good. But from what I've played so far, it's not kind of hooked me in with that Final Fantasy feeling yet. I get the feeling that that's something that will grow over time. We've literally got the prologue. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily expect it to give me all the Final Fantasy feels at this point. I'm looking forwards to that point coming when we get the actual game. But like I say, in general, big win on this demo. When you compare it to the Forspoken demo, where they did the same sort of thing as what Final Fantasy XVI's done with the special battle demo, but that was it. And it was just completely disjointed, and there was no connection with the combat, I didn't think. Whereas with this, doing the prologue first, only doing a small bit of the game, and then going into a special battle demo where you can play around with all the extra abilities and things from later on in the game, I think that's definitely the right way to do it. You get the story, you get to learn the game, and then you get to play around. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 demo for me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it a 10 out of 10 demo for you? What do you think? Have you played it? Is seeing everybody playing this demo making you want a PS5? Is it going to make you go out there and get one? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. How do you feel about Final Fantasy XVI? Have you played it? Did you enjoy it? Give me all your thoughts. Let me know. Let me know all the things. But I think that's going to be us for the day. So don't forget, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future content. But more importantly than all of that, have a great day.